this time, I call to order the regular meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board of March 26, 2019. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Matthew Perkins.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a number of substitutions tonight. Dr. Klein Namu for Dr. Sherry Olson, Ms. Felicia Ganther for Dr. Carla Fisher, and Ms. Samantha Blevins for Ms. Leslie Cooper. We also are missing a number of board members tonight. Mrs. Sullivan is attending a workforce development conference. Mrs. Wynn is, we believe, in the Cook Islands. She's been in New Zealand, Australia. We do anticipate that she may be calling in. Oh, she did. Okay. And Mr. Hendricks is at a conflicting event, but we do expect to call in for action items. I'd also like to mention that it's the Chancellor's birthday today. So thank you for coming to her party. We hope to give her a birthday present tonight by not having an overly long meeting. For student life reports, I'd like to call on the students from Gateway Community College. And if you'd introduce yourselves, please.
Good evening, and thank you, President Thor, governing board members, Chancellor Maria Harper Marinek, CEC, and guests. My name is Ala Khalaf. I am a member of the Student Activities Management Council, also known as SAM Council.
Hello, my name is Feza. I'm a member of SAM Council. At Gateway Community College, we offer many leadership opportunities. In the fall, 10 students attended 3-day student life and leadership retreat at Palm Summit Camp in Prescott. We left there with an awareness on how to be an inclusive leader, how to grow our club, and even expand our social network. In November, 27 students attended the American Student Government Association in Los Angeles, California. And all 4 of us were part of this group. The real power of the conference came from making connection with other student leaders from across the country. While in Los Angeles, California, we took this opportunity to visit the Museum of Tolerance. The museum challenged us on how our action and decision can affect the world of today. Next is Amani presenting events and activities.
Good evening. My name is Amani Megan, and I am SAM Council Communications Manager. Gateway Community College offers several events and activities where students and volunteers can get involved in program planning and campus events. SAM Council hosts several activities on campus, including Pizza with the College President and Gateway Holiday Buffet, which is open to our staff, students, and their families. SAM Council also hosts free monthly family movie nights on campus where we have about 100 plus in attendance, which includes students, faculty, staff, and community members. The movies we have shown this school year are Jurassic Park, Incredibles 2, and Hotel Transylvania. Every year, Gateway students and staff gather on campus for food, fun, entertainment, and good company at our Geckoland event, which was last Wednesday, the 21st of March. Since Gateway is celebrating 50 years, the college decided to have a day of service. We went into the streets and volunteered, with UMOM helping arrange their pantry and sanitizing their classrooms. Also, we helped Ronald McDonald House, where we baked cookies and cleaned rooms for the incoming families, and Phoenix Neighborhood Service, where we did yard work for families unable to do on their own. Thank you. Next, Allah and Zara will present on clubs and organizations.
There are a broad range of student clubs that explore a variety of activities and interests that promote social, cultural, and academic awareness. College is about exploration, finding your passion and having fun. In January, Gateway held a club expo where students got a chance to gather information about the clubs on campus and decide which one were right for them.
Hi, my name is Zara Dukum and I am the Vice President of SAM's Council. Between the four of us, we belong to the following student organizations: 5 Delta Kappa, Math Club, Women Rising, Muslim Association, and Trio and Excel. This year, Gateway Community College clubs have been involved in different activities. The student nurse attended the Arizona Student Nurse Career Planning and Convention. The Safety Club attended the Safety Leader Conference. The Student Life and Leadership opened the food pantry, clothing, and closet that will help women rising and student athletes. The Math Club held a pie day to raise funds for the Dr. Bar Scholarship. The Gay Straight Alliance sold the Valentine grams to raise funds for the bookstore. The Muslim Association celebrates Wall of Hijab. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and for giving us the opportunity to share with you the many activities going on at Gateway Community College.
Thank you very much, student leaders. It sounds like you're having a very full year. Are there any comments or questions for the students from Gateway? All right, thank you for being here. Next, we have the Faculty Executive Council. Mr. Champel, do you have a report?
No report.
No report tonight. The Adjunct Faculty Association report. Gail Haas, do you have anything to report on behalf of Patrick Roddy?
President Thorpe, members of the board, Dr. Harper Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests, my name is Patrick. My name's not Patrick. I am Patricia. Patricia Gail Haas, and I'm the past president of the AFA, the Adjunct Faculty Association. Patrick Roddick is the current president. He could not be here tonight. So as you know, the adjunct world has been changing a little. It's very satisfying to be part of the developments that are going to make a difference. It seems like from the Provost's office and the CEC, all the way through local professional growth developers, there is a collaboration to improve student success. Focus for adjuncts is on improved preparation, onboarding, facilitating instruction, and providing training. It has been exciting and rewarding to watch as so many corners of district-wide operations get involved to support student success. One of the most satisfying examples, I'm going to brag a little bit on my friends, of problem solving and collaboration is the current work on the adjunct pool, which was designed over a year ago to be a recruiting tool, but which quickly became too large and cumbersome to be useful. Martha Anderson and her team have taken on the challenge of fixing it, and in remarkable collaboration between HR and IT, along with faculty advisors, in bringing studied solutions. I think the collaboration worked the way it's supposed to. The teams pulled stakeholders together, asked questions, and listened to needs. They are designing solutions that will go a long way to solve the problems. I would like to give a shout out to Ali Koenig, who started this, rolling this ball, along with Kelly Cameron. The team members who have rolled up their sleeves in making this happen are both from IT and HR. I want to publicly thank Megan Tomey, Jeannie Edeke, Rob Cardelli, Kevin Kosters, Parag Peratapor, Mika Davis, Jay Reffy, Etta Washington, Karen Delavina, and Megan Fay are all working and implementing the solutions for the adjunct pool. Also, Nick DeFalco and Patty Finkelstadt provided invaluable faculty input, dramatically perfecting the final product. This challenging project, which now has several creative solutions designed to meet the genuine need of chairs to assign adjuncts, will be a tremendous boost to our effectiveness. We really appreciate all of you that are pitching in to make this work. There will also be an adjunct recruiting fair in May, which is part of the master plan to identify quality adjuncts who want to partner with us in student success. Also, our LEAD conference, which is Learning Engagement for Adjunct Effectiveness Development, is this Friday at Gateway. This is our annual event with adjuncts leading workshops, leadership, and innovation. So you all are invited. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We now have Mrs. Wynn with us via cell phone. Okay. Can you hear us, Mrs. Wynn? Okay. But we can't hear her. Yeah. Yes, we can hear you. However, you'll need to yell at me or something if you wish to say something, because you're quite low, quite quiet. All right. It's now time for the Chancellor's report. Dr. Harper-Marinick.
Thank you, Dr. Thor, members of the board. We have one presentation tonight, and that is an update on the work we're doing on developmental education reform. We have 3 faculty members to make the presentation: Ashley Stieg, Christian Newsma, and Michelle Agostinelli. I'll invite them to the podium. Thank you.
President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper-Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Ashley Stieg. I am a reading faculty member at Mesa Community College and currently serving as our district's Developmental Education Coordinator. As part of this role, I am honored to work with the Developmental Education Council and Transformation Project team, many of whom are here tonight. Presenting with me this evening are Christiane Newsma, math faculty and interim dean at South Mountain Community College, and Michelle Agostinelli, the project manager for Developmental Education Project team. We appreciate this chance to share with you the great work being done across our district by dedicated faculty and staff in a coordinated and strategic effort to increase student success. As we look at the work being done through the developmental education redesign portion of transformation, it is important to first start with a shared understanding of the term developmental education. In much of the research done nationally, the terms developmental education and remedial education are used synonymously. This, however, often leads to an unfortunate misunderstanding regarding how we provide support to all students. Remedial education refers to basic skills education offered in standalone sequences of courses that serve as prerequisites for many college-level courses. Remedial education is a method of support specifically designed for students who are considered underprepared for college coursework. Developmental education, on the other hand, is a holistic approach to support for all students throughout their academic journey. The National Organization for Student Success defines developmental education as a comprehensive process that focuses on intellectual, social, and emotional development of all students. Developmental education includes, but is not limited to, tutoring, career and personal counseling, academic advising, and coursework. Traditionally, our district has offered support models that provided students with developmental education support prior to their enrollment in college-level courses. While these support classes were offered in a more remedial format that included as many as 3 semesters of coursework prior to college level, our dedicated faculty worked hard to ensure a more holistic approach was incorporated into the curriculum. You can see the results of these efforts in the steady increase of our student success rates in developmental courses. Success rates are defined as the percentage of students who earn an A, B, C, or P in the course. And now I'm going to turn it over to Christiane, who's going to talk a little bit more about the data.
Thank you. Although these courses often had high success rates, we know they also created exit points for many of our students. The connection between these standalone courses and a student's ultimate academic goal was not always clear. And this disconnect is reflected in how many of our students did not complete these sequences as designed, leading to poor overall completion rates for students placing into developmental education. This slide shows the percentage of students who started in a developmental course and graduated within a 3-year period and a 6-year period, as illustrated by the 2 different lines. There are many variables contributing to graduation rates, so it is useful to look specifically at one example from a particular developmental sequence. Utilizing district data on the success rates in developmental English courses, which by national standards have a high success rate, we can see the barrier that these long sequences present. Even assuming that all students who passed one course in a sequence enrolled in the next course, the traditional long sequences meant a steady decrease in the number of students who made it to the college-level course. Unfortunately, the 50 students in English 101 on this slide is an optimistic projection, because even students who successfully complete a course do not all move on to the next level course, meaning that in reality, even fewer students actually make it to the college-level course. After careful consideration of our own data, along with data and research being done nationally, in the spring of 2018, the Developmental Education Council set forth these 2 major goals for our redesign efforts within the Guided Pathways framework. As you can see, they focus on placement and support. In order to meet these goals, a set of shared design principles was created to guide the myriad of decisions required to transform how we provide the right support to the right student at the right time. Additionally, the design principles, and I know it's very small there, but the governing board, you have members, you have copies of this in front of you, hopefully. Okay. The design principles are designed to help coordinate efforts at our individual colleges and across the district to increase equity through educational attainment. Okay. These principles are the result of research, deep dialogue, and feedback from the stakeholder groups on the Developmental Education Council, including instructional councils for counseling, English, math, and reading, deans in both academic affairs and student affairs, VPAAs, VPSAs, advising, the testing council, and ultimately the CEC. Guided by these shared design principles, the current developmental education redesigns efforts are focused on that 2-prong approach, including the development of a holistic placement model and a suite of support that will provide the right support to the right student at the right time. Our district has traditionally relied on the AccuPlacer and RightPlacer, which are standardized placement tests, to identify which incoming students needed support in specific foundational areas such as math, reading, and English. This method resulted in approximately 70% of our students being placed into the developmental sequences across these 3 disciplines. Based on a national movement to utilize more accurate measures, we are now developing a more holistic approach to understanding the needs of our students. For spring 2019, We successfully implemented the use of high school GPA as a primary placement method. For summer and fall 2019 enrollment, we added in the use of ACT and GED scores for placement. We plan to add additional measures over the next 2 to 3 semesters, such as high school coursework and SAT scores. We will also be working on ways to combine these various measures to help develop even more accurate understandings of our individual students' needs. I'll now turn it over to Michelle.
Along with this new holistic approach to placement, we are also working to implement a suite of support approach to provide the right support to the right student at the right time. This suite includes 3 categories of support: basic needs, non-cognitive, and academic. Though the Developmental Education Council and project team are working on different goals within each of these categories, we are also extremely aware that this work does not fall solely on our shoulders. The work being done by the other district transformation teams, including but not limited to the mapping, fields of interest, and integrated student support teams, goes hand in hand with the work being done by our team. We are grateful for the coordination and collaboration found among all our district's teams that allow for this overlap and integration. We would like to share a few of the pieces currently being developed in each of the 3 categories of support. In the category of basic needs, which includes concerns such as transportation and food insecurity, one current goal is the development of a central online location where community, district, and campus resources can easily be found and accessed by staff, faculty, and students. For the non-cognitive support, we are focused on identifying additional institutional structures or resources provided to students as needed to assist in mastering the habits of mind, attitudes, behaviors, and strategies which facilitate success in school and the workplace. The work being done in the academic category of the suite of support is perhaps some of the most visible redesign efforts to this point. Over this past academic year, the instructional councils for English, math, and reading have all worked diligently to push curriculum redesigns that will allow our district to move away from our traditional long sequences of developmental coursework that occurred prior to college-level courses. These curriculum redesigns include the creation of new co-requisite courses designed to provide just-in-time support to students as they need it in and alongside their college courses. Other curriculum changes include modifying college course competencies in order to embed foundational knowledge and the contextualization of courses based on the fields of interest. As you can see, our district is in the beginning stages of an ambitious redesign of developmental education. This work will be an ongoing, iterative process driven by evidence and inclusive of many voices. Therefore, we will also need to reconsider the current metrics our district uses to assess the effectiveness of our developmental education offerings. The items on the left are examples of current governing board metrics for measuring the success in developmental education. Items on the right are possible examples of new metrics that could be created to measure the success of the redesign.
The developmental education redesign will be a process that challenges us to question many of our current practices and policies, but it is also a process driven by our desire to see every student succeed. It is our belief that through this redesign, our students will not only have access to an amazing education, but also the added supports needed to take advantage of this access. Thank you for your time and for your support of this work and of our students.
Thank you very much for a very interesting update on a very important initiative. Do members of the board have any questions or comments? Mr. Saar.
In the state of Arizona especially, we have the highest percentage of opportunity youth in the nation, which is 16 to the mid-20s, and most of those are challenged without a high school diploma. So our GED programs at Rio and others are working to give those students that opportunity. Have you worked in GED programs into this to combine the teaching so that at the same time they're gaining the skills to pass their GED, that they're also meeting our requirements for the 100 level courses?
President Thor and Governing Board Czar, yes, that is part of our conversations. Again, we have many different stakeholders who are involved in these redesign efforts. That very point that you're speaking to is one of the reasons why we move so quickly to utilize GED scores as a placement measure. But it is an ongoing process to make sure that we are building those bridges and those connections.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Again, thank you very much. We look forward to monitoring your progress. We are now at Citizens Interim. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board about items that are not on the agenda for discussion today. In compliance with the open meeting law, the governing board will neither discuss nor take action on issues raised during this portion of the agenda. Each speaker is asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Our first speaker is Haley Hardy from the Mesa Community College Student Government.
President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper Marinick, members of the CEC and guests, my name is Haley Hardy, and I'm the Executive Vice President of MCC Student Government. And I'm here on the behalf of the Associated Students of Mesa Community College, Executive Board, and Student Body. I am a student trustee for the MCCCD Governing Board has been an initiative of student governments for several years now, and we are extremely excited to see it coming into fruition. This is an important step for students participation, not only within their individual schools, but the district at large. While we thank the board for the drafting of the drafting and proposal of this new position, we would move the board to make a couple of edits. First, we ask the board not to have the student trustee go through student public policy forum. While SPIF is an impressive group of students, we must be more inclusive of the student body and allow any students meeting the requirements to apply for the position. SPIF members should also not be the ones to elect the student trustee, as they have no right to speak for the student body not being elected or in a representative role, as well as SPIF does not some students are not representing some of our colleges as well. We would suggest that if the Maricopa Student Senate is not capable to elect a member for this upcoming year, then the advisors of SPIF appoint a member based on district-wide applications. Next, we would like to comment on the scholarship of $500 per semester provided to the student trustee. While this is an important piece, it's not enough. With a minimum requirement of 12 semester credits, the student's base tuition per semester would be at least $1,020. We would ask the board to instead either cover the student's tuition or to change the scholarship to $1,500 per semester, as this would not only help with the classes, but the high cost of textbooks as well. I hope that you will take these changes into considerations for amendments, and I'd like to thank you for your time and support for the Maricopa Community Colleges. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Richard Zuckerman.
Good afternoon. President Thor, members of the board, Chancellor Harper Marinick. My name is Richard Paul Zuckerman. I'm a student, although not presently attending this semester. I'm applying. And I've had a disciplinary problem with Gateway Community College's Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Diaz. She gave me a letter. She handed me a letter and said, I don't like some of the things you've been saying and doing on campus. So henceforth, you must contact my office before stepping foot on campus. I asked her, what did I do? She said, I'll send you police reports. I never received them. Now, last year, the governor signed a bill into law called Free Expression Policies. And this free expression policies requires in all disciplinary proceedings involving students, including proceedings involving expressive conduct, a student is entitled to a disciplinary hearing under published procedures that include at a minimum all of the following: the right to receive advance written notice of the allegations. Her letter doesn't specify what I did wrong. The right to review the evidence in support of the allegations, the right to confront witnesses who testify against that student, the right to present a defense, the right to call witnesses, a decision by an impartial person or panel, the right to appeal. I tried to appeal. I mailed one to Mr. Gonzalez here, president of Gateway Community College. He sent me a brief email sending it back down to her, like, deal with her. Well, I don't care what your laws say. I mean, if you're not going to make a decision on it, I'm not going to exhaust remedies. And I'm going to go to the law library, and I'm going to get a complaint for injunction. I've already filed I personally delivered a Tort Claims Act notice of claim. So, I mean, I've been asking you people. Last time I left a letter, you said, I'll take a look at it. Did you take a look at it? Did you? Are you just looking at me? Okay. So I'm going to leave it one more time. Now, another thing is Mr. Dale made a decision back in 2016 on disciplinary hearing. I didn't get a real disciplinary hearing, but he threw out something and he said, I'm nevertheless guilty of harassment. And he put a due date, the expiration of the punishment. Well, after the expiration of the punishment, I went into the building. I was told I'm not allowed to go into for a certain time. And the cops came in and said, well, we don't know whether your punishment is ended or not. And they did it more recently, too. So because you don't have a policy, so the cops don't know I'm being harassed.
Mr. Zuckerman, your time is up if you want to finish your thought.
Yes, I implore you to please abide by this new law, expressive policy. Give me a disciplinary hearing. I don't want to have to go to a lawsuit over this. I have respect for you people, believe it or not.
Thank you. We now move to consideration of the consent agenda. All items with an asterisk are consent matters unless they are removed from the consent agenda at this time. Do any board members or the Chancellor wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Thank you, Mrs. Nguyen. Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda say aye. 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 Thank you, Mrs. Nguyen. Were we getting? I see. Okay, thank you. Mr. Hendricks will not be calling in. The consent agenda is passed on a vote of 5-0. We now move to first readings, 12.1, which is the proposed new policy on the student board member. Haley, I did want to clarify some language. At our policy committee meeting a week ago, we changed the proposed language from the student board member being selected from among students who are participating in the Student Public Policy Forum to asking the Student Public Policy Forum to put forward a process for application, review, and selection of the new student board member. which our assumption is going to open it to all students who are interested in applying. And until and if we have a student senate, this appears to be the most appropriate body for making the ultimate recommendation for seating a trustee. Do board members have any comments or questions on this? Mr. Saar.
Yeah, this process is, I've been on the board for 9 years now, and every year it's come up and never has happened. And I think it's more because we tried to make it perfect the first time we did it. And even though this has some areas we know are going to be changed in ensuing years, it's a start. We're going to get somebody up here July 1st that we can call a student trustee, and they'll learn along with us how the system can be improved as time goes on. So I think the work that's been done on this current policy warrants success, and that we can look forward to having a student sitting up here with us for the next school year.
All right. This policy will be back to us for action next month. Also for first read under Human Resources, 13.1, adopt assorted employee staff policies. Are there any comments or questions? I believe these are all technical changes. Seeing none, 13.2, modify employee staff policy manual C-1, posting and selections. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we're now at Mrs. Nguyen. Thank you. 14.1, Human Resources, Employments and Separations. Comments or questions? Hearing none. 15.1, Budget Analysis Report for Fund 1. Any comments or questions?
Just
Mr.
for the
Saar.
public, we've had this information for a week or two now in most cases, and we've had a public meeting a week ago that we spent time discussing these. So if it sounds like we're blasting through this, we've done the work prior to this meeting in public.
Thank you for clarifying that. All right, we're now at Community Linkage, Governing Board Reports. Dr. Narini?
Thank you. I just want to thank Mesa Associated Students for inviting me to their meeting last week and being tolerant with my traffic issues and getting me to speak and back to our meeting on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. McGrath? Mr. Saar?
No.
Mrs. Nguyen, do you have a report?
I'm having a wonderful time. I miss you all here.
Thank you. We've missed you too. Travel safely. And I have no report. Our next meeting will be April the 23rd, 2019 at 6:30 in the Governing Board room. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Lots of so moved. Seconds?
Second.
We're adjourned.